Okay.
Attorney THP, how you doing?
Doing good. I'm doing good.
Yeah, I've been seeing you real viral on the internet lately. You know what I mean? Covering a range of topics. And I gotta ask you, a lot of my people are becoming sovereign citizens as we gain our consciousness. You know what I mean? We're separating from this government. But the problem is we still got tickets. Is it true that once you become a sovereign citizen that you're no longer bound to the standards of the courthouse?
Well, I'm not a sovereign citizen myself, but I will say this. I done seen a lot of sovereign citizens and what they call themselves free nationals and all these other terms. They go to prison and that doesn't help them get out of prison. I've never seen it. I've been asking for the case law, the paperwork. So I say this, if you think that's going to be your get out of jail free ticket, I think you should reconsider that, because from everything I've seen, that ain't working.
Right. You are a parole attorney, correct?
I do parole amongst other things, yes, sir.
Okay, so what's the significance of a parole attorney? I've never heard of a parole attorney.
Yes, sir. So in Texas and in many other states around the country, you do a crime, you get sent to prison, and then you have to serve a certain amount of time in prison, but then you can apply for parole so that you can finish your time out on the streets, almost like being on probation, but it's on the back end of the system. So my job as a parole attorney is to get to know my client, prepare a parole packet and a reentry plan for them, and then to actually go into the parole hearings and advocate for them and be their voice so that they're not just a file on the desk.
Right. Now, you actually came up with a system or a product that helps people stay out of prison. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. To help you get out of prison and then stay out. So what we created was the first ever parole packet technology, the first technology really ever within the parole space, aside from going and getting somebody and bringing them back to prison. We created 10-way parole, which again walks inmates and families through the entire parole process from start to finish, instructions, videos, templates, and at the end of it, you have a professional parole packet to increase your chance of making parole, decrease your chance of recidivism and coming back.
Now, personally, I always thought parole was dumb. And the reason that I believe that parole is dumb, because most people will take 10 years probation and get out of jail, and one fuck up, they back and they got to do all that time.
Sure.
Right? Whereas you can just finish what you got to do, come home, less restrictions, and now you're a free man when you get out.
Yeah.
But when you get out on parole, you technically still a slave according to the 13th Amendment. Am I right?
You're still under a form of a bondage and submission. Absolutely. You're still technically in the custody of the state. That custody has just been extended outside of prison. But I say this, I think what you're speaking to many times is like within the federal system, where they have to do 85% and then they can choose whether or not they want to get out for that last 15%. So if you did 10, if you got sentenced to 10 years, you did 8.5 years, but now you got a year and a half left. A lot of people say, man, just leave me in here. I don't want to deal with all that. When I get out, I want to be free. But like last week, we helped a guy make parole on a life sentence. He did 30 flat. So for him, there is no max date, you know what I mean? Or if a person has 20, 30, even 5, 10 years still hanging over their head, you want to get free, call THP.
Right. Attorney THP. So we got a situation where a lot of people in our community go to jail for expressing a Second Amendment right, the right to bear arms. You got a situation with All-Star JR where he was attacked, robbed, grabbed the gun that somebody else had and was using against him, uses it against them, gets out of the situation, and is later on charged with felon in possession of a firearm. What do you do in that situation?
I think that's an extremely weak charge. I haven't seen the actual charging instrument or the office report, but at the same time, felon in possession of a firearm, you're a felon, you know you ain't supposed to have a gun. But in that moment, we got to make a balance. We got to make a quick choice decision. Am I going to let this person shoot me with a gun that they commit a crime, robbing me with, or am I going to do what I got to do? And I think sometimes, you know, that's the situation we deal with as an attorney, where my client might not be in a perfect situation, but sometimes he had to do what he had to do, and that outweighs him being in possession of that firearm for that split second.
Attorney THP.
Yes, sir.
What are the do's and don'ts of riding in your car with a tool?
All right, so if you got the Thule on you, let's start with the dudes. In the state of Texas, the first thing you need to do is go get a holster. I can't tell you how many people I see go to jail, catch a case behind, they got a pistol, they bought it from Academy, it's registered, they not doing anything else illegal, but they don't have the gun and a firearm. The cop walks up, flash the light in there, hey, I think that's the butt of a gun I see, it's not in a holster, get out the car, you coming with me. The right cop gonna take you to jail for unlawful possession of a firearm. So the first thing you need to do is go get you a holster. The holster way cheaper than the gun.
So you can go to jail just for not having a gun in a holster?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. If you got a gun in a car in the state of Texas and you don't have the holster, that's like automatic. The right cop can and will take you to jail. Some cops will overlook it. They'll take the clip out, whatever. But I just see so many regular people catching this case and going through the whole criminal process like they really did something wrong when they really didn't.
Yeah, so, and a lot of people feel like they got smoke. So you had that gun put up in the wrong spot. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need immediate access.
Okay, so I think that's a good point right there. Once you got it in a holster, as long as it's not like around a child or something where they have access to it, you can have a gun wherever you want to. I had people try to tell me, oh, I want to put it here, I want to put it there. If it's in a holster, you're not a felon, it's not a violation of your bond condition, you're not committing any other crimes in possession of any drugs, you can have a gun wherever you want to. I think the next step would be to think strategically about, okay, if I'm having an interaction with a cop, I'm getting pulled over, they're walking up on me. If I was you, I wouldn't tell you to have that gun somewhere that they could see it. But as you see all of that progressing and coming to play out, put the fucking gun up. Sorry to you, excuse my French, bro. Put the fucking gun up for you to smoke by the cop, not right. Your op.
Speaking of getting smoked, doobies.
Yeah.
When a lot of us, when we ride around the car, we smoke our weed and we have our little cup and we put it in our cup holder. And when we finish, we put it out so that we can roll a doobie blunt later.
First of all, if you still smoking doobie blunts in 2026, you need to step your game up. All right, back to the question. My fault. Yeah. Step it up.
So what's your thoughts on riding with the doobie?
Okay, so this is my honest thoughts. Riding with marijuana. At my big old age, in my 30s now, I tell you, smoke when you get to where you're going, smoke before you leave the house. Again, if you get pulled over, they smell smoke. They can lie and say they smell smoke. So if they legitimately smell smoke, they could tear your whole car up behind that little doobie joint. In any event though, if you gon' smoke, throw that shit out the window. Don't ride around with a bunch of doobies because that's marijuana. And again, we just came off the pistol question. So if you even got a bunch of doobies and roaches and damn near ashes, a little crumble of bud, and you got the pistol, that right there automatic makes that pistol unlawful. So if you ride with the doobie, throw it out the window.
So even if you can, if you're legally carrying, if you have a doobie on you, that makes it unlawful carry of a weapon?
Right, because if you have the firearm in the commission of some other crime, even if that pistol was clean otherwise, because you committing another crime, possession of marijuana, possession of, instruments of marijuana and paraphernalia, then from that point it will become a crime. It is a crime at that point.
Cartel Bo just recently beat his case with his baby mom, domestic violence case, and afterwards we see them back on the internet doing it again, right? That's my guy, that's my girl. My question to you is, what is your advice for black men in situations to where we're fighting over the kids?
Man, for one, I'm not totally familiar with Bo's situation, but at the same time, I deal with domestic violence and these type of disputes all the time. They end up, instead of being in a civil court or family court, they end up over here in the criminal court. First thing first, so all the brothers, be active in your kid's life. If you feel like the other co-parent is opposition to you, then you need to put the system in their life. Because if not, and they got the system in your life and you're on child support and you got to fight to get your kids and they playing custody games and they never on time and doing all this and that puts you in a situation where you don't got no leverage. So I know a lot of guys, they don't want to get put on child support, but then they end up getting drugged through the mud by the significant other anyway, behind just trying to be a good father. If you're in a situation where that person likes to play them games and then try to front frame and put a case on you and say you did this, that, and the third, and you didn't do it, or block you and don't want to let you leave the house. I done had a couple toxic girlfriends. It was fun, but that shit was dangerous. But in any event, block the door, don't want to let you leave, don't want to let you come in, do all this other type of shit, then
now you got to move her. Now you done touched her. Now it's a bigger problem.
Right. So if she playing all them type of games and they put their hands on you, then you need to call the laws and put the laws in their life. That's not a popular opinion in our community, but I'm telling you, if not, you gonna go down there with a bogus charge and she gonna be down there trying to talk to the prosecutor. I got an affidavit of non-prosecution, and that might not be enough to get you out the way. So that's what I say. First thing first, put your ego to the side. If it's about the kids, it's about the kids. If they playing them type of paperwork games, then you need to start playing them and play them better, opposed to you frustrated, they got the system already halfway in your life, and then next thing you know, you catching the case, and now you really out the way.
Attorney THP.
Yes, sir.
So recently there was a fight at the Burger King in 3rd Ward at my alma mater, one of my alma maters, Jack Yates High School, where 2 people were shot, young people.
Two teenagers.
What's your thoughts on the
Allegedly, one teenager popped some other teenager. All allegations at this point. Man, this is what I say. As a criminal defense attorney, and also as more importantly as a parole attorney, I just see so many young people commit these crimes, 15, 16, 17. Somebody ends up dying, passing away, serious injuries, and then now you fighting decades in prison and trying to get out when you're in your 30s and 40s. Put them guns down. You know what I'm saying? Y'all get back to fist fighting and doing all this and that because you think you're a kid. I don't know if y'all know these bullets ain't real, but they hitting people, and the system ain't playing with you. You know what I'm saying? They sitting people down for a mighty long time behind a brash after-school altercation that could have went, with the hands, but end up with the gunplay, and then now you dealing with grown folk stuff. And also, I say this to the juvies out there, man. Watch who you running around with, because if little dude was with some other people and they was all in it together, and he pulled that strap, everybody could get charged with the same crime. You know what I'm saying? So, youngsters, get back to the hands, and absolutely, I got to tell you, man, watch who you riding with and jumping in the car with and going on plays with.
All right, Attorney THP, man, I appreciate you. Real tune. Money in the room. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure the people are going to love this. I'm sure this is going to help a lot of people. And if they're looking for you, where can they find you?
Yes, sir. So you can find me at thelawgroupofthp.com, thelawgroupofthp.com. Also, we got a couple products, Tamway, Parole.com, and ParoleAttorneyTV.com. We trapping.
Money in the room.